All right, good morning, everybody. Okay, it is a Thursday, so let me tell you what's going on. I don't really have anything right now. I am looking for a possible short on this Nasdaq at 183.75. 183.75. Remember, I am just trading micros, so everything I'm going to do today going to be micros. Going to continue to watch the indices. So what do we have? We have the Micro S&P 500, Micro Russell, Micro Nasdaq, Micro Gold, and Micro Crude Oil. So I'm going to put a resting order down there at 183.75. Should we get triggered? Now this could end here. I may pull this order here if the pattern dissolves, but we are starting to set up a pattern for a short. All right, so once again, we are trading with Apex. They are a prop firm. We are trying to get through the eval process. All right. So, using a strategy I've used for the last 40 years, 35 years actually, to be more specific. And it is a proven approach. I'm just having to modify it, trading these micros, which I've never done before, to stay within the parameters of what is required in order to pass their eval. So goal is 3,000, and there's other things that we have to watch. They do have a trailing drawdown. If you hit that, then you have to reset and start over again. So we're trying to start with micros here, so we can stay within these parameters, hit that 3,000, and then they will fund you with a live account, which then you share in the profits with the prop firm, assuming you make profit. So right now that we are still in that eval process. All right, we do have some reports coming out in about 25 minutes or so. Let's take a look. I know we have retail sales are coming out. We also have jobless claims. So retail sales and jobless claims. Two reports could spark a little bit of volatility in the market. I don't have anything yet in any of the other indices. Once again, possible short on that Nasdaq down here at 183.75. All right, so we'll continue here. Continue trading here live up until 8 o'clock Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. Then we'll move over to Discord. We will continue to trade throughout the day. Once again, just keep in mind that I do not suggest that you mirror any of these trades. There is a quite a bit of delay whenever we stream through YouTube, but if you would like to track me without that delay, then you have to join the Discord channel. And once you're in the Discord channel, you will have access to all my trades throughout the full day. And of course, always remember that trading is risky. Do not trade with funds you can't afford to lose. One thing I like about these prop firms, which recently I became aware of, I've always been always traded a cash account. But the nice thing about this is it's ideal for newer traders or traders that don't have a lot of funds to trade. Very low exposure on as far as risk, and but you have the ability to benefit if you're a good trader from the profits if you can generate profits. I am starting with a $50,000 account. You can go up to 300,000 if you want, but I think most people are going to be starting in around that $50,000 range. So that's what I am going to do. I want to try to reflect what most traders would be doing. So we'll start with the 50,000 and see if we can hit our goal. We're about a third there. Started with 50,000 last week. I'm at 51,138. Goal is to try to hit that target without hitting the drawdown here within 3 to 4 weeks. So I think I'm on track so far. Maybe down a little bit here. I still have, I'd like to be up closer to 52, but still have a few more days to go here. But there's no rush. I'm not going to push it just so I hit it within 3 weeks. I'll take my time. The markets aren't always willing to give you those bigger gains, and you have to just be patient and wait for the market. Don't force your hand and try to push because you've got to hit a certain amount of money every day. So just take your time, and the money will follow. Follow your trade the markets. Don't trade your balance. Don't trade your equity. Trade the markets. All right, so we're just sitting here waiting, nothing, seeing nothing yet. Okay, okay, so yeah, Tim, so you're okay, so when you first log into Ninja Trader, you should have that option, okay? You're going to see you should have the Nadex, I'm sorry, not Nadex, Apex. You should have the option to either go into your live account or the Apex account. Are you not seeing that? Sounds to me like your key hasn't been implemented into Ninja Trader. But that should give you the option. When you pull it up, you should. Remember when you first log in, it's going to ask you, remember, it's going to ask you for your username for the Apex account. So remember, when you first go there to log in, if you go to log in, go to use the web. Try to use the web base. I don't know if you're trying to use the local client. Use the web base client. All right. And when you log in, it should have your username. It should be your Apex underscore and then your account number, and then you're going to put in your password that they gave you. All right, and that should get you going. And then once you log in, it's going to ask you download the Ninja Trader desktop or go to web. Click on Launch Web Platform, and then you should be all set up. You should see your Apex account number on the top right hand side. Remember, you're doing the simulation, you're not doing the live. Try it again. Okay. Okay, you're using web based, you should be fine. I mean, as long as it's coming up and you're seeing, you should see your count up there. Whatever you started with. If you started with the 50,000, it should say cash balance. Right next to it should be on the left should be your account number. Yeah, you don't want the live data feed. Make sure, once again, make sure that you are logging in with your Apex. Did you log in with your Apex account number and password? Okay, everybody, about 15 minutes out here before this report. Jobless claims, retail sales. Okay, so after you log in, what's the next screen that you see? What do you see? Tell you what, go ahead and log in, and then if you would, Tim, just take a snippet of it and then just post it in here so I can see what it looks like. Post it in the in the chat window. Let me see what it looks like. Jason, I only trade with one. I always start with one. Everything that I put on, I start with only one micro. Only one. If I need to do any kind of reversals, I will add, but right now it's strictly one. Usually, if I am adding, typically I'm only going up to about three, but always start with one micro. No, I am not short the. I am not short the Nasdaq. I am not in any positions right now. If it comes down to 183.75, I will take a short. Just be careful. We do have the report coming out in about 12 minutes here. Very similar. I'm using something like called Einstein. Same thing. I trade everything the same way. I don't. It doesn't matter whether it's forex, whether it's Nadex, anything. I always use the same method. It doesn't matter what you're trading. It's the method that's the important thing, and the method is solid across the board. So I use the same method. Everything I do is pattern based, pattern, and then uh, Einstein gives me the targets. Yeah, one simulator. Okay, when I click on the simulator, but I get the pop up about live feed data. It almost sounds to me like you're trying to log into a live account. That's what it sounds to me like. It almost sounds to me like you're trying to get into a live account, and you're absolutely sure when you're logging in, you are using your Apex login. Apex username. Okay, so when you first get in, you see where it says download Ninja Trader Desktop, and then next to it, it says web. You click on web, right? Web-based platform. And after you see web-based platform, you're going to see live trading. And then on the right, it says simulation. You click on that. And do you show an Apex account number? What kind of account number do you see on the top? Yeah, Jason is. It is different. I'm not using crystal ball. I'm not using the core patterns. Einstein is totally different. There are some videos on the website talking a little bit more about Einstein. If you want to look at those, you can see there. little explanation on how Einstein works. It does have its own unique set of patterns that I use with it. All right, so we're about what, 7 minutes out here before this report. You don't have to abandon those, Jason. You can still use those, but when I'm trading futures like I'm trading right now, then I prefer to use Einstein. You can still use those if you'd like. All right, 5 minutes out. Now, I'm not going to be trying to trade all the indices. Just to let you know, going into this report, I'm just going to focus on the Nasdaq. I don't. If everything starts moving really quick, I won't be able to keep up with all these indices. I'm going to focus on Nasdaq. May have setups in the S&P. I may have some setups in the Russell. I'm not going to take those. Focus at least until everything settles down. If it does get a little crazy, I don't want to be trying to manage three of them at the same time. So I am just focused right now on the Nasdaq. Once things settle down, if there's not much action after the report, then we'll start looking at the S&P and the Russell. Three 3 minutes. Okay, that's what. Okay, so next to your account number, Tim, do you have a little arrow where you can click on and change the account number? Do you see that available? Little arrow next to the account number, you can click on it and maybe change over to Apex. Well, Jason, the patterns are different. You're thinking about the core patterns. These patterns are totally unique to Einstein. So all the patterns are valid. All the patterns are good that you've learned. It's just that Einstein has its own set of patterns. So I'll go into. I just gonna watch this action. Then I'll go ahead and I'll explain a little bit about Einstein. But I want to get through this report here and see. So if you can just hang tight, buddy, I'll go ahead and I'll explain a little bit about Einstein. So I have a resting order sitting down here, 183.75. Should it start to come down? All right, let's go. Got it filled. I will reverse if I need to. Up here at 184.25. 184.25. 184.25. I'm gonna have a really tight target here. I'm gonna try to get down to 184.25. Have a limit sit down there, 184.25. I'm sorry, 183.50. 183.50. Put that in there. 183.50 is my target. All right, 183.50 is my target. If I need to reverse, I'm going to reverse at 184.25. I'll put on two contracts. Looks like I also got triggered on the Russell, but just too fast. Couldn't manage it. It already hit target. It's got a second short on the Russell, and it also hit target. So two hits on that, but I couldn't get into it fast enough. I just trying to manage one here. $183.50. See what the Dow's doing. Small Dow's up 98, 97. Once again, only in the I'm just short the Nasdaq 183.50 is going to be that target. Had a little bit of slippage on that entry at 75. They filled me at 72.75. That's okay. You know, it's fast market. You're going to get some slippage on that, particularly around the reports like this. Small downs of 148. Look how close that came. Or shows it went down to 183.50.75. Be patient. Let it work. Hey, getting a buy in the gold. Just got to buy in the gold. I'm in at 71.90, 2171.90. Target on this going to be up to 74.60. 74.60. If I need to reverse, I'll reverse down here at 66.5. Okay, gold just hit its target, so we're out of gold. Okay, I'm getting a buy now on the Russell, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in on this Russell. Long the Russell. Still short Nasdaq. I have a target sitting up here at 2105. I'll take a reversal down here at 2090. Let me adjust. 2090, that is correct. All right, long the Russell, still short the Nasdaq. All I'll also sell one on the Russell down here at 93.20. And if I did get do go short at 93.20, I'll get out of that one at 89.90. Okay, so just explain kind of what's going on so this doesn't not too confusing. I'm trading two different time frames, all right? So my longer time frame is long, shorter time frame will go short at 93.20. So that acts as a hedge against the longer time frame. Still short the Nasdaq, long the Russell. Shorter time frame will sell in here. Take a short again on this gold that let's see here, 21.69.20. Still long on a longer time frame on the Russell. Shorter time frame will sell here at 93.20. We'll get back in gold on a short this time at 69.20. We get out of 66.50. It comes back down to that area. Still short on the Nasdaq. Want to get out at 183.50. Went short gold. Gonna try to get out at 2166.5. For some reason, gold reverses. I'll get out. I'll reverse up here at 74.60. Okay, shorter time frame is short on the Russell. Its target's going to be 89.90. If I don't hit target, I'll reverse up here at 99.80 on the shorter time frame, 99.80. All right, flat gold. Still long on the upper time frame, but short on the lower time frame. So basically what that does, that hedges me on the longer time frame, gets me out. It has its own target, and the upper time frame has its own reversal. So once again, when you're trading this method, now I've been doing this for a long time, I don't suggest you guys trade at the most maybe two, because it can get intense on a fast market. It can get fairly intense. It's very difficult to trade more than several markets. You don't need to. All you need to do is stick with one. Nasdaq's a real popular one. The ES is a little bit slower. The S&P 500 is slower. Any of them. Gold is good. Crude's good. I don't have anything on crude yet. I don't have anything on the S&P 500 either. Small Dow's up 115. Okay, Tim, I'll walk you through it here in just a little bit. We'll figure it out. I'm sure it's just, usually it's just something simple that we're missing, right? So we'll figure it out. We'll get you set up. Okay, so gold hit its target, getting out of gold. Okay, flat on gold. Still short the Nasdaq. Still short. Well, I'm long and short on the Russell. Been in this Nasdaq trade here for a while. See if it gets start coming down here and hit our target. All right, so it is now the top of the hour. Tim, let me explain to you a little bit more about Einstein, and then I'm going to switch over to Discord. So basically, the premise of Einstein is based off of the law of kinematics. It's something you have to study. It's called kinematics. It has my name in it, but no, I didn't come up with that. That's actually the term that they use, and basically what it is so let's talk a little bit about Newton's law. So Let me read to you what I have, my explanation of it, and hopefully it'll make sense. If it doesn't make sense, study the law of kinematics, uh, and it probably will make a lot more sense. So basically, Newton says for an object in motion, for an object in motion to stop, it needs three things: force, time, and distance. All right. So Newton's first law tells us that an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted on by an outside force. But when that force is applied, the object doesn't instantly come to a complete and total stop. In fact, Newton's second law tells us what happens when an object encounters an outside force. Okay, so force leads to acceleration, right? Acceleration changes, and I'll explain how this applies to the market. Force leads to acceleration, and acceleration changes the velocity. When the velocity is zero, right, the object has stopped. We can use physics and kinematics equations to find out how fast something comes to a stop. But the time, remember, is never zero. Nothing comes to a complete stop, right? This means that the object still travels between the time the force is applied and it comes to a stop. The distance it covers is the time is called the stopping distance. Okay, so basically it's the same thing with the markets, right? So think of a car going down the road, slams on its brakes, it's going to skid. Well, by studying kinemetrics, what they do is law enforcement, insurance will look at the skid mark and they can tell you how fast that particular object is going. All right, well, you can turn that equation around and you say, okay, if I'm going at a certain distance, and what is going to be if it hits its brakes right now, what is the minimum amount that car is going to slide, right? Same thing with the markets. If it hits a certain velocity or momentum, it's going to keep going. Okay, at any point in time, as that speed starts to gain on any, it doesn't matter if it's stock, commodity, doesn't matter what it is. At any point in time, once it hits a certain speed, it's going to keep going at least a minimum distance. Think of it as a skid mark, right? And so basically, what we're looking at is we're saying, okay, let's say I want to pull $1 out of the stock market. What I'll do is I say, okay, if I'm going to get $1 out of the stock market, I need to see a certain velocity, a certain speed in order for me to jump into it. Once I see that speed, I buy it with the idea I have a high probability it's going to go make that dollar move. All right. So buying and selling volume leads to momentum. All right. And the volume applied increases the momentum. When the momentum is zero, price movement has stopped. We can use physics and kinematics equations to find out how far prices will move before coming to a stop. But remember, it's never zero. Remember, it never comes to zero. All right. Now, it will from time to time, and I'll explain that here in a minute. This means that prices still travel between the time the opposite force, in this case, would be volume, right? So if you're long, be selling volume. If you're short, it's buying volume, is applied and it comes to a stop. So the minimum distance prices will travel before coming to a complete stop, and reversing in the opposite direction is highly predictable. Okay. Basically, what I call the Einstein pattern method, which is basically patterns in Einstein or EPM, it's designed to calculate the minimum distance a price will travel. This is new, innovative. You've never seen this before. This equation was given to me back in the 80s. All right. So I'm very familiar with this equation. He called it at the time Einstein. I didn't come up with that name, but it has the laws, has to do with the laws of physics. He called it Einstein because he thought it was brilliant when he came up with it, and actually is pretty brilliant. And so that's basically the premise. And so what we're looking at is I'm looking at that minimum distance. Okay. So I know that I have over 70% probability of hitting that minimum distance. It's all probability. So if I have the advantage of knowing how far prices are going to go, a minimum distance, never know the max, then I can play with those probabilities, right? So when I get into a trade, I have a very high probability it's going to hit my target, 70% higher than that. So typically when we went back and we looked at it, we're running around 72%, somewhere in that area, 72 to 74%. So, and that's what I do, and that's across the board. All right, with everything, it doesn't matter what it is, and that's basically how it works. Now, remember, we're trading probabilities. Probabilities doesn't mean every single trade is going to be a winner, right? So we're going to be wrong 30% of the time. It also doesn't mean that you can't have two losses in a row. We're talking about probabilities. All right. So that's basically what works. So I'm a little bit over. I wanted to explain that to everybody. I promised I would. That's how it works. I'm going to move over to Discord. Remember, there is a lag time when you're on YouTube. If you want to join me live right now, there's a free trial. You'll get a free week in my Discord channel. It doesn't cost you a penny. After that, it's only $50 a month. It's an introductory rate. Most people charge $200 or $300 every month. And this far surpasses any method out there. And I'll put my name behind that because it does work. And it has a 40-year history. So this is not something I've been doing for a couple of years. This thing has been around a long time. All right, that's it. Everybody have a great day. Any questions, reach me via my website, innovativetradingstrategies.com. Everybody have a good day, and we'll see you first thing tomorrow morning.